even though he just said it, feel more comfortable. I'm Hannah, if you didn't know. And I grew up here in a small town, obviously. I grew up here and I went to church.
Hey, you got it, babe!
Give me like 5. Okay. I'm good. I grew up here and okay, so everybody talks about the amazing way they came to Christ. Like, I was an alcoholic for 6 years, something like that. I don't have a better analogy. But I did it. I just wrote this like an hour ago. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out. Okay, I'm good, I think. Okay, so, okay, so I grew up here in church, and I accepted Christ when I was 7. And a lot of people say a 7-year-old doesn't know who Jesus is. That's a lie. Because I probably have a unique place where I accepted Christ. About none of y'all accepted Christ where I did. I was at the fairgrounds, sitting in the bucket of a tractor with Brother Jones. And that's where I accepted Christ. And I was also baptized on Easter, which I thought that was pretty cool. So, I grew up in a home where my parents, they taught me the word. So I knew from the moment I accepted Christ that if I died right then, I'd go to heaven. And a lot of people, they'll come, they accept Christ, and they're like, okay, I've got the Jesus thing down, now I can live my life. That's not how it works. Being a Christian isn't easy. It's probably one of the hardest religions, in my opinion, because you're held to this standard by God. You're supposed to fulfill His commandments. You're supposed to praise His name, obviously, but they just did. You're supposed to grow in your faith with Christ. If you're not growing in your faith with Christ, then there's something wrong. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So, I accepted Christ when I was 7, like I just said. And I would consider that I was on the right path until I was 8th grade. I hit some rough patches, but don't we all? So, I went through some stuff in 8th grade that it was kind of hard, but I was like, I got this, I can keep going, it's not a big deal. But I really started falling away from Christ when I was about 14. I realized, well, I didn't realize actually, I was running from God. I was literally running from God. I was running for about 3 years. From my 9th through 11th grade, I went through some things that drastically would change a person. It literally turned my world upside down. I hid from God, and if any of y'all have hid from God, it does not go how you think it would. Like, He will find you, and it's worse when He does. So what I try to do, what most people do, is I can do it by myself. I got this. But none of us can do anything without Christ. I put everything on my shoulders. I said, I have to do this. I have to do this. Nobody's going to help me. I have to do it for myself. So I continued to run from God because I was mad. I blamed Him for everything that I was put through, the challenges, the trials. And I just continued to blame Him because I didn't understand. Because it was a lot to go through at my age. I was mentally and physically abused, and I rededicated my life to Christ when I was going into my senior year. But before I get there, going into this summer, I was not in a good spot, and I was pretty good, or I thought it was. That I put on a face. On the inside, I was dying. I was broken. I wasn't me. I didn't know who I was. I remember crying for years and not telling anybody, like crying every day and not telling anybody about it because I had to do it by myself. But I cry every time I talk about it. But I got this amazing job over the summer with amazing people, and if it wasn't for Jess, I know for a fact that I wouldn't be here because I thought I couldn't do it, and I can't. I know for a fact that I couldn't do it, but working at this, I got a job at a church camp, and if I didn't get a job there, I don't know where I'd be, honestly, because I was maybe there a week, and I worked there all summer. And if you met me before I started working there, and you met me a week after I started working there, you wouldn't know it was me. Because instead of the plastered on fake smile, how you doing, it was a genuine smile, how are you doing? And I was slowly crawling back to God. And I didn't even realize it, honestly. I went to, I don't know if any of y'all have heard about it, but our church takes us to a leadership camp in Brownwoods, Texas called Super Summer. And what that is, it's grades from 8th grade to senior, and you're all divided into colors. So each grade has their own color. I'm in green school because I am a senior this year. And I like to sing. If any of y'all know me, I like to sing. And I remember being in Super Summer, and I was like trying to sing, and I'm like, oh, why can't I sing? Why can't I speak? I like to talk. Why can't I do it? And I just get like this feeling like, listen, just listen. So that's what I did. I listened that entire week I was there. And by the Thursday, because the next day we would leave, it just hit me. Like, I was like, whoa. I had to take a step back, look at my surroundings, look at where I started when I accepted Christ, and to look where I was now. I was claiming to be a spiritual Christian, but I wasn't. And so I started spurning to God at that moment. I knew that I couldn't take another second without God. Like, knowing that He sent His Son to die on the cross for our sins, it was a joyful moment when I just like, none of that matters. That shouldn't define who I am. That shouldn't keep me from worshiping God. That shouldn't hinder me because of what happened. So I had to work through and get over everything that I'd been through the past 16 years of my life. And I did it all on Thursday at Super Summer. And I felt when I came from that camp, I was like, whew, that wasn't that hard. All you had to do was trust God. But I didn't do that. So I just want to say that Jesus is worth it. If you think He's not, like, He really is, or else I would not be here talking to you about that. I have this analogy. It kind of doesn't go with anything what I just talked about, but it's a really good analogy that I want to use. Okay, I went to Pineywood's church camp over the summer, and this was our pastor. He preaches, but he uses stories, because sometimes people don't understand what he spoke about, so he would use a story to help. So this story I found very interesting, and I really liked it. So it's about a man. He's walking through the desert, hot, and he's getting to the point where he thinks he's gonna die out there. And he comes across this shack. He stumbles upon this shack, and he goes in, and he looks for anything, but it's just a shack with a few, like maybe 3 walls, because it was falling down, and the roof was flapping in the wind. But it was protection from the sun. And he takes a nap because he just, I don't know how long he'd been walking in the desert, but even if, I'm pretty sure it's hot, so he needed a nap. So he eventually wakes up, and he sees his water pump. And he runs to it, and he tries to, I'm not really sure, but I think he did this. But he did that, and no water came out. And he's like, this is it, I'm gonna die here. I have no water, I have no food. And so he goes back to the shack, defeated. He's like, this is on me, this is my fault, I'm here. And so as he's breaking down, realizing that this is how he's gonna die, he catches in the corner of his eye a jug of water. And he runs to it, opens the lid, and is about to drink it, but he sees a note. It says, pour every drop down the drain, and then water will come. And as he sits there contemplating, should I do it? I mean, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna die. But he went to the pump and poured all the water down the drain. And he went to pump it, and no water came out. And he stood there thinking, why would somebody do this to me? Why would you get my hopes up? And then nothing come back. Why didn't I gain anything from putting all of this into this pump? And so, but he feels like he should just try it one more time. And he does it, and nothing but dirt comes out. But he hears something. So he keeps doing it, and he keeps pumping. And all of a sudden, water just flows from the pump. First it was dirty, hot water, then cold, clean water. He drank and drank until he couldn't anymore. He bathed. And then, on this jug of water, it says, under the note, pour all into the pump, it says, fill it back up for the next person. And so that's what he did. He filled the jug up with water and then wrote on it, it really works. You just have to trust. So what I got from that, which had nothing to do with what I just talked about, but he put everything he had, that was his last bit of water, and he poured all of himself into it. And that's what we need to do with Christ. We need to pour all of ourselves into him to receive him. You can't pour half, you can't pour a little bit, you can't say, oh, I'll put some here and then I'll do it some more later. No, you have to put all of yourself into Christ to receive him. And that's just, I really like that analogy, that's why I said it. But I'm telling you this so you know that Jesus is worth it. And I encourage every one of you here today to at least tell one person about Christ when you leave from here. I encourage you to get into the Word of God. If you're already a Christian, I pray that you open the Bible and start reading, because without the Bible, without reading, you're not growing in your faith. And if you're not growing in your faith, are you even really being a Christian? And I pray that if you don't know God today, that when we have the thing at the end where you can come to the altar, I think, something like that, altar call or something like that, that you pray and ask God to come into your heart. Because I didn't want to, once I rededicated my life to Christ, I wouldn't want it another way.